on this episode of Bot vs. Con.
Hey, welcome back, BBC fans. As always, I'm Bobby the Bot.
And I'm James the Con, and this is Bot vs. Con, where your voice is heard.
Exactly, and we really want to hear your voice about what we're going to be discussing today, and this is what was showed off at Megacon 2025 down in Orlando. I'm pretty excited. I'm kind of excited. I'm interested. Yeah, that's a better word. I'm interested in these things. So let's go ahead and jump into it and see what was talked about. But before we do that, let's say thank you to our official sponsor, The Chosen Prime. Again, you can probably pre-order some of these things. Shout out to our members. Shout out to our subscribers. And we'll talk about the news and all this other stuff later. But let's go ahead and get into this. I'm interested.
Let's do it.
This is Bot versus Con. Make sure to subscribe and consider becoming a member.
Now, before we get into this properly, I did want to say there are a lot of in-hand images now, but we are going to save that for the news, so stay tuned tomorrow or later on tonight for members, and feel free to join. We will be talking about a lot of the in-hand images, but we just wanted to get this initial reaction to these out while we can, so let's go. I wanted to start it off with at least something positive for me, because I don't know about the rest of it for Bobby. So I don't know. We haven't really talked about these, but I think it's safe to say that I'm excited for SKYBYTE. I do think they did an amazing job. I will give credit where credit's due. This looks like a great upgrade to the original. It's more in proportion. It doesn't have, well, we'll talk about it next, it doesn't have a weird curve like the original one did, even though that was cool at the time. Having something else now is better. I did wish he had the Predacon symbol on his chest. I'm sure there'll be a sticker to fix that, because that's the one thing that's missing. They are labeling him on the box as a Decepticon, and I'm like, come on, guys. I get it, it's marketing, but that's...
Either Autobot or Decepticon, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, forget about everything else. Anyways, I think it's cool that he comes with the gun, the fins. Honestly, this looks really, really nice, and like I said, when Hasbro does a good job, I think they do a really good job, and I will be buying 2 of these, one for both modes.
Well, I do understand that. You have been on record for saying that you will be picking this up. This does look good. I didn't like the character. I thought it was kind of silly. I didn't like anything.
He's silly just like you. That's why you should like him.
But I'm funny. He's just silly. No, at least I think in my head I'm funny. And if you don't agree, then you're just a bad person. But no, see, look at, I got James laughing already.
Yeah, because you're so silly.
I think this is a very good looking figure. Actually, I think the colors look really good. Did he have 2 different colors on his chest?
Yes, he did.
Okay. I do have the original. I'm thinking I'll pick this up.
Really? Wow. I mean, that doesn't surprise me because they did an amazing job with this figure. And the alt mode looks really nice as well. It has a great shark nose. That's always hard, hit or miss with some toys. The only thing that I don't like is how you could see where the arm starts. It's not like a smooth transition.
In the back. Yeah.
But again, that gives it a little bit of articulation with the tail fin to move. I love that the gun could be sitting in its mouth like the original toy. Yeah, honestly, I wish it had the gimmicks, like the spinning and the firing missiles. Yeah. But again, okay, whatever. I think this is a winner. I think this is one of the best. I mean, I might be a little jaded, but I think they did a really good job updating the figure, unlike Sideburn, which was from our idea as well. This is a much better redo of that. Now, I guess there's a car licensing issue with Sideburn that obviously a giant cybernetic shark doesn't have.
There's not a shark licensing issue? What?
I mean, there should be. They need to go pay the Great White Shark King, I guess, But at the same time, I think this is phenomenal.
This alt mode looks really good. All the way up until where you mentioned the tail part. I think the blue looks really good. I think everything looks like it combines really good. The original, I used to hate that the feet and the top, it always kind of just like started to come apart a little bit. It felt like so this looks like it's connected together better. I think I'm in for this. Actually, when I first saw it, I said I'm gonna go ahead and get this. So I think I'm gonna get this.
Yeah, that's what I didn't think you were gonna pick it up, but I'm definitely picking it up, and I'm gonna hope for a Cybershark repaint, maybe in one of those 4-packs. You probably don't know the Cybershark repaint, but I would totally be down for that. So let us know what you think down below, and we're moving on to Heatwave. So what do you think about Heatwave, since you are the Autobot of this duo?
Yeah, I will be passing on this. It looks like a fine figure. I never watched, what was it?
Rescue Bots.
Rescue Bots, yeah. I tried to watch it, and I ended up just leaving it on as background noise. I like that everything stores on the alt mode. It looks like what it's supposed to look like. The bot mode looks really good. The alt mode looks like a kiddie toy, and I hate to say that. I know Rescue Bots was kind of aimed at, and as I took it for a younger generation, and the alt mode looks that way. The bot mode looks really, really good, and it looks comparable to the Chase. Chase was the cop, yes. Right? Mm-hmm. But the alt mode on this looks kind of, like a $6-7 Transformer versus the bot mode.
I have to agree. I don't understand what they're doing, because Chase looked like a G1 styled Rescue Bot. This looks like a Rescue Bot alt mode. It does not look like a realistic Earth or future Earth, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. It looks just like one of the kiddie toys that transformed, as you said. It's Bulkhead, re-engineered, if you didn't realize it. And that's fine. I don't have any problem with it being Bulkhead, but I wish they would have made it a little bit more realistic. Now, I didn't get the Chase. I didn't really like the Cliff Jumper that came out. There were issues with the arms and stuff. But I don't think they would look amazing together in alt mode. Bot mode, they'll look fine. But I do wish this alt mode was a little less preschoolish, because the even the ladder is so wide. Like, it's not realistic at all. And maybe that's what they were going for with Chase, but they wanted to remold it into Cliff Jumper, and this already had the remold, so they're like, let's just go full tilt. I don't know, but it looks fine. If you're into this, I would pick it up. I think it looks like a fine figure. The Bulkhead mold is pretty good. It's not bad. I have 2 of them. I think you have 3 of them, if I'm not mistaken. I don't like that the weapons are clear, but maybe that's a Rescue Bot thing that I don't know about. I just don't know.
It's maybe a water axe and a water gun.
Yeah,
the blue,
maybe.
I don't know.
That would make more sense, but I think it's fine. Not for me. Not my cup of energon. But it is painted rather well. I will say that. All the different yellows and the silvers and stuff look really good together. So I'm glad to see Hasbro's doing that.
Yeah, the bot mode looks good. I actually like the way the bot mode looks. The alt mode, yeah. So
moving on, we've got. So I don't know if this is going to be a special thing, but this is Timelines, which is the name that they took from the original BotCon. So I don't know if this is Hasbro Pulse exclusive. I think it is, and they're going to be doing Optimus and Starscream. Now, thank you to Scooby Prime for sending us some videos at the what is that called? The panel. And they said that so every year they're going to do a different timelines where they're going to say, like, the Transformers woke up at a different time instead of 1984. And this is obviously like the Renaissance type of era. And they're always going to be the same 4, which is Optimus, Megatron, Bumblebee, and Starscream in every line, which I guess is kind of cool. So if you had a shelf, you could have a whole bunch of different Starscreams, all the Optimuses. They said 2026 is they already know what time period they're going to do for 2026. 2027, they want the fans to choose. But regardless, I think these bot modes actually look good. I don't know the size yet. There were some in-hand images, but again, we're going to save that for our news cycle. I think these bot modes, they're fine. I don't like the shield on Prime. I wish that just plugs into his back because it wouldn't do much. But the Starscream looks cool. Doesn't look as nice as MMC's. Yeah, exactly. But the Starscream doesn't look as good as MMC's attempt that came out in 2012. But this probably doesn't break as much. So give and take. Yeah, I'm not in for these, but I think they look good. I will say Prime's feet, the waffling on Prime's feet is almost inexcusable, though.
You just messed me up with that. I actually was going to commend them because I didn't see a lot of waffling on this. I totally didn't even look at Prime's feet. I was looking at Starscream's legs, and like it
they have like little gears and stuff.
Yeah,
to be in theme, which is cool.
Yeah, it looks looks good. And I was trying to look under the arms and stuff, and I was just like, these look like fully completed figures. And then you had to ruin it by mentioning that. I don't know how I feel about this, especially if they're going to be doing it every year with the same 4 characters. It's cool in theory to get, you start anticipating what that next, the next 4 figures are going to look like. So that part's cool. It's bringing something to the line that we haven't seen and knew about. Like knowing that this is what's going to happen if you're in for these, that's kind of cool. I don't know if I necessarily like the way they look, and that's kind of what's throwing me. I just don't see Starscream or Prime or Bumblebee or Megatron in this version, so it's hard. But they look good for what they're supposed to be, I guess. And so I don't know. I may pick them up just because it's different.
I mean, it's supposed to be like a thought experiment. What if? Marvel.
Marvel does. Yeah, I just finished watching the 3rd season,
and I think. I haven't seen any of those. And I do think these designs are accurate to the comic books. So I think they're good. I know you don't know what the comic book designs look like, but I do think they look good. Where they fall apart, at least for Prime, is the alt modes. That does not look like a train. That looks worse than Heatwave in the kiddie train. Like, what are they doing? There's not even room for like an engine in there. Starscream, I think, looks really good. He looks like the biplane. I wish you could see through him more. You know what biplanes are supposed to be like, two things with, and I wish you could see a little bit more through him to have that look, but again, it's okay. But that alt mode on Prime looks like that. There was just a third-party Bumblebee Legends figure. Exactly the same.
All right, so Prime looks like the machines that they used to have outside of grocery stores that kids used to get into, and you put like a couple quarters in and it goes like this. That's what it looks like.
I don't know if they still have those anymore, but yes, I know they let you talk. That you put a quarter in.
Yeah, I don't remember how much it was, but that's what it looks like to me. So I think you're right on par with your description. Starscream looks like, what's that? Was it Death Charge or whatever that you were wanting to see? The Beast Wars, the Manta Ray. That's what it, that's what it reminds me of, and
that would be a cool repaint.
So I mean, I see that more than I see a plane, and I don't like it.
When we're off air, I'll show you the original third-party one that came out, and you'll probably like those a lot more. But again, you can't compare them. I'm not, I don't know the price on this. I would assume $50, but we'll see.
If it's a 2-pack, $50, I could swallow that just for something different and unique on the shelf. I could swallow that $50. If we're talking about 85, 100, something like that, then definitely no.
I really need to see the price on this, and maybe they have it out. I didn't see any, but we'll update you on the news. So this is the only in-hand images we're looking at because we didn't have any official images of this. They also showed off Megatron and Bumblebee, which are the other two. I think these two look a lot better than the Starscream and Optimus. I think Megatron, I might pick this up for that Megatron. I've always loved the Hearts of Steel Megatron design with the wheels on the shoulders, the spiked wheels. He turns into a cannon. Stay tuned. We'll be showing that off on our news. And it's really cool. And Bumblebee, I think looks better than the Prime. And if Bumblebee is a squat little
caboose
or engine or whatever, I think that's fine. I think Prime needs to be a big, intimidating train.
They just need to stretch him out a little bit.
And they've been doing that a lot. They've been chibi-fying a lot of the alt modes. I mean, look at Superion. Look at, Devastator, which if you've already watched the news, I'll be commenting on that. But I think these look very nice. So I might be picking up this 2-pack for the Megatron alone, and Bumblebee would just be a nice little thing on the side. I think he never thought I'd say this. I think the Bumblebee looks better than the Prime and the Starscream.
I have to agree with you. I don't like it agreeing with you, but I like this set better than the first set as well. They look clean.
Yeah.
They just look like clean, functional robots.
Yeah, I agree. And maybe I haven't looked at the alt modes in detail. Maybe if we look at the alt modes, they're going to compromise on the alt modes, but I don't think they are. So we'll see.
Yeah. And I haven't, this is my first reaction to all this stuff, pretty much. So,
yeah. We haven't talked about this offline.
Yes.
We've been trying not to. Next up is the Space Bridge, and I know some of these are going to make you mad. So, first of all, I've got to say the Cybertron Noise Maze or Sideways, just being the toy just standing there in a badly photoshopped thing, is hilarious. The one in the middle. I have that figure on my shelf. Let's see. He's right here, I believe. So I will probably pick it up unless it's a horrible remold of a figure that it shouldn't be. I think that looks really cool. We've got Cybertron, Excellion. Let's talk about the Cybertron people first. Are you excited for Excellion or Noise Maze?
I don't even know who that is.
It's Sideways from Cybertron. So, you don't know that?
You said what did you call it?
So the first picture is Cybertron Excellion, which is a repaint of Hotshot.
Okay, yeah,
in Hot Rod, Rodimus colors.
Excellion? I don't remember that name, so yeah.
The second one is Cybertron Noise Maze / Sideways, which was he changed back and forth. Noise Maze is the Japanese name, Sideways is the American name. So you know nothing about this figure, so you'll have to wait to see what they actually look like.
Yes, exactly.
I think you would probably pick up the Hot Rod repaint because you like the original mold. It was in your top 5 Hasbros, and if the repaint looks nice, you might pick it up. And I might pick it up too. We'll see. Still don't like the arms on that thing, but Sideways was one of my favorite, if not it's probably my favorite Cybertron figure. Posability at the time, I had memories of picking it up with my grandfather. I think it's fun. That's why he's still on my shelf. He's still fun to transform and do all the fun stuff. I don't know why they didn't choose a better picture than the toy picture just standing there, but I need to see it. But I think I'm going to be in on that, just like the SKYBYTE. I have a connection with that. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. Next up, the last picture on the top row is the Studio Series Devastation Decepticon Ground and Air Troopers, which looks like a car. It looks like Run Amok and Run About. So I don't know if they're going to.
That's what I thought it was.
That's the mold that they used in the game. I don't know if they're going to go back and take that mold, which was a good mold. I did like it. And then a black cone head with primal swords.
I'm interested in those.
Me too. I think cool repaints I'm all down for, and both of those repaints would be something I would get.
Yes, I think I might be in for those.
Next up, at the bottom, the first one, we've got G1 Sandstorm and G1 Slugslinger. Didn't we talk about that they were just going to come out with Sandstorm?
With the correct head, and it makes sense. I hate it. Knew they were going to do it. I don't know if I'm going to get it.
I don't blame you. I mean, you already have the mold once. I remember it wasn't your favorite.
Yeah, the chest didn't really plug in, tab in really securely. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I may pass on that. Now what might happen? So we've talked about this. Is it a Kai Studio where they've been doing all these heads for like Prime?
Something like that,
and all them. Mm-hmm. If they did the G1 Sandstorm head, I would buy that and not rebuy the figure.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Spend $20 on the head and do that.
Yeah, I think that's it's an interest. I think that would be a better way to do it instead of buying the whole thing.
Yeah.
But the head will probably be great because their head sculpts have been amazing.
They have been.
And then we have G1 Slugslinger. I'm interested, but at the same time, there's another company making the Target Masters that I'm more interested in, and I'd rather put that 25, 35. Don't know if it's a Voyager or whatever. It could be a leader. We know. Into those, especially since the price doesn't seem too bad on those. So I'll probably skip that for one that fits more in my collection.
I'm right there with you. I think I am going to skip it, and hopefully you don't hear my vacuum. My vacuum is coming in here. But I'm with you on that. I think I may, unless it looks amazing, you know, then I'll grab it, of course. But if it's just subpar, I'd be interested in a new version, but it has to look good.
Yeah. Next up, we have the Iron Fist. Goodness, I mixed their names. I was say Inferniac, but it's Iron Fist and Carnivac, which I'm interested in. If it is the Hound mold, love that mold. Think they could do really good. Wouldn't mind having an Iron Fist in my collection. Don't know much about him, but his color scheme's kind of cool. And Carnivac, always been interested. I know you don't like the Pretender aspect, but this one actually transformed. The Interbot actually transformed into a Warthog. And having a Warthog-like Transformer, I'd be totally in for. Or is it going to be a wolf? Because that was the Pretender form. I think it turns into...
The wolf was the outer shell, and the Warthog was the inner shell?
I think I'm getting them mixed up. I think it was a wolf in both of them. There's another Pretender that was a Warthog. Excuse my French. So either which way, I'll probably be picking that up. Two obscure characters I don't think third party is going to do anytime soon. I think it's going to be an Amazon exclusive. And yeah, I'd be interested.
Yeah, I'm good.
You'll probably you picked up the other Wreckers stuff. You'll probably pick this one up too. That's what you say now.
That was 2024. 2025, I'm making some changes.
That's what you always say. Lastly, we have All For You. We have Studio Series 86 Perceptor with Ratbat and Ramhorn. Ramhorn is completely new tooling. Ratbat will be updated.
So is this the Sonar or team or whatever? I remember we saw a listing. They called the team something.
No, they called this Studio Series 86 Ratbat with Ramhorn and... Studio Series 86 Perceptor with Ratbat and Ramhorn.
Okay, there was something we talked about that was... So maybe there's another Perceptor, but it was like supposed to be this team. And I thought the team was going to be Perceptor and Blaster. Because they did a Perceptor and Blaster set a while ago.
They did mention that this scene is in... There's one 5-second clip where Perceptor and Ramhorn fight Ratbat. Which is why they put these guys together.
Yeah. I have it actually set up in my my movie display. I actually have the tapes fighting each other. It's when they
break through the top, right?
Yeah, and Blaster's trying to send the signal out. So yeah, I like the pack, and I guess then are they going to do, Blaster re-release Blaster coming out with, Steeljaw, and maybe Rumble or Ravage or something like that. I don't know. But
so this is a Target exclusive. And are you going to be picking it up?
I don't think so.
Would you want Ramhorn?
I do.
Because I'm thinking I might pick it up for Perceptor and Ratbat. Because Perceptor, I've said, is probably one of my favorite Autobots. And Ratbat, I have... You probably can't see it. On this shelf, there's about 6 of them on that shelf. So I wouldn't mind adding another one to it. That's, again, if it looks good, because I do have 86 Perceptor right here. So I don't need another one. But if it looks a lot better, or who knows what they'll change, I might be interested. So
that's me. I already have an 86 Perceptor. And
I don't think it was selling out. I used to see it in the store shelves. So I don't know why they're coming out with it again.
Yeah. So that's the thing. I don't know if I necessarily need it.
It is a Target exclusive, so we might be able to both get it for 65% off.
That's there. You're talking now.
I know, right? All right, so now let's move on to the HasLab, which I think is the big news of the day. And let's start off with our first impressions of the combined mode. What do you think? Oh, and the HasLab, I didn't say it. The HasLab is Legacy Leo Kaiser. It'll be $300. It's already live on Pulse if you want to back it. It needs 10,000 backers by March 24th at 11:59 Eastern Time. We'll talk about the other tiers at the end.
Yes, it's already at 2,300 backers. Over.
I have it up. I was going to say that too, but I'm glad you were able to show that off. So.
Yeah. Things I like. I like that the feet are there, like how the feet come out and how they store. That's kind of cool. I like that the chest force, is that what they're calling them now?
I don't know what they call them.
Instead of breast force, I think it's chest force now. I like that the beast can, like, at least on the legs, it looks like they're still able to tab in there, and that looks good. The legs look fine. The waist looks like he has some granny panties on. They just look very, very wide. The arms look fine. The chest is where it throws me off. We're seeing the underside of Leo. What is it? Leo Zek, whatever.
Leo Zek, yeah.
Seeing the underside of the plane, and are we supposed to see like the top side of the plane? So that's throwing me off a little bit. The wings, like with the Decepticon symbols on it, they look like they're just a little bit too far out. But again, not necessarily nitpicking that much. I think this looks like a good combiner.
Yeah.
Honestly, it looks like a good combiner.
So I just looked it up. That is accurate to the G1 with the underside.
Oh, it is? Okay.
You don't see it.
Okay.
Now, in the artwork, it looks like he has the same thing. And even in the show model, they make it look a little bit better. But that is accurate. Okay. I don't like it. I think that should have flipped around.
Yeah,
I think that would have looked nicer. But again, if it's accurate, that's what they're going for. Fine.
Yeah.
My first thought was, this looks good. I was like, I like this. And then I looked at the one picture off to the side where he has the gun up, and I'm like, okay, he can't pose for nothing. He's pretty much a brick. There's not a lot of articulation in there. And he's very chunky. And then I saw that there was the shell with like at least the legs. And I'm like, well, that, Leo Kaiser was cool because he did not need anything but his head. And that was kind of like revolutionary back in the day, even though I wasn't there. And I'm like, okay, well, that's not the best. And I just kept finding little things that I didn't like. And then I saw the price of $300 and the size of 12 inches. This is smaller than their Devastator, which we'll talk about on our news. And I was like, yeah, no, that price pushes me out, which maybe we'll talk about that a little later. But why don't we talk about each individual member quickly before we wrap up with our final thoughts? And we have Leo Zek. Again, super chunky. So big. The alt mode's fine, but like he's literally has Silverbolt syndrome, where it's a bot with the plane strapped to his back. You could see the head, you could see the arms. They didn't like try at all. Even the feet are out. They don't. You're right. I was just about to say that. So,
but it looks like there's a pin there, so maybe it's just not transformed.
Or is that fold for? You know what I think it is? I think those are supposed to be the landing gear.
Oh God. Okay.
But at the same time, it looks fine. The lion is the best part. The breastmaster is the best part of this figure, and that's going to be a reoccurring thing, in my opinion. If you like it, more power to you. That's all my opinion.
It doesn't look like the mouth is going to open on that either, on that lion.
Oh yeah, no, definitely not.
It does look like a chunky bot. Chunky butt. It's a chunky butt.
He probably has that too.
Yeah, I'm looking at the hip skirts look kind of cute. They're there's a little angle to them. They're cute. I think it looks fine in bot mode. I don't like the alt mode. I don't like, at least from this way, it looks like there's a huge box hanging off the back. And I don't
know what's up with that.
Yeah, and I don't like if the feet fold down like that for landing gear. That's terrible. I don't like the way that looks either. It just kind of breaks up the scope of the figure. So the head, hopefully it can spin around or whatever. So you kind of see head syndrome from time to time. So I'm not as picky about that. It's just that the wings don't look big enough to hold up that big back part on the tail wings. Yeah,
I definitely see that. Yeah, I don't know. I also don't know what's going on with his foot, where there's the square coming off of his heel.
Maybe it pegs into something.
It probably does.
So I'm okay with that.
Moving on to Guy Hawk, and this one's better. I think, in all aspects. Maybe because he doesn't transform into the chest, but like they couldn't have had the peg fall down on the bird somehow.
That looks so tacky.
Or push it in. It looks really bad. And aren't HasLab supposed to be the best of the best? And they used to be. I don't think we're getting that with this particular one. Spoiler for my final thoughts. Jet mode, I think, looks better. I don't know about the arms being so wide out there. It looks okay.
Yeah, my complaint about this one is the chest master or whatever they're called. That peg looks bad. Looks like,
at least if it was red, if it was a red peg, at least it would blend in a little bit better.
Yeah.
Or pink. It's more magenta-ish pink.
Yeah. And then even with it, sticking on his chest, I'm like, that looks terrible. Just pink. Third nipple there.
I was thinking mono, but yes.
Yeah, I don't really like that. The alt mode looks good. I like the blend of colors. The colors look great so far on all of these. I like that there's balance with the wings and in the front and the back. So this one I actually like.
Yeah, I agree. Next we have my favorite, which is Hellbat, and you can really see. First of all, I'm surprised they called him Hellbat. They didn't change the name.
I saw Lbat, like it's ELLBAT.
I saw both, so who knows?
Okay.
Maybe they did change it. This one shows off how all of them have the waffling in the arms.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah, all of them did too. If you look at the other ones, they all had the same thing. The alt mode, I always like this jet. It's very interesting. The arms, again, they needed to collapse more. They kind of throws off the triangular jet type of thing. But it is what it is. I like his little devil bat. That's like, I don't know what's going on with that. I think it is accurate to the G1 toy, but it's crazy looking. But this one, again, the arm looks fine.
Yeah, and you're talking about the waffling on the forearm?
Not waffling, just the gap.
Okay, yeah, where they just don't have a flap to cover, like the fist. You can tell the fist rotate in, but
they're also on ball joints, which take it or leave it. Some people hate ball joints and say they're cheap. Other people say they're not. So it's a good point. I think he also has a peg sticking straight out of his chest. It's just the angle you can't see it. That's the circle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The bat looks good. The head on the bat looks really cool. Yeah. It looks demonic. The alt mode again looks good. The colors look good. The wings, it would have been nice if they were solid, filled in, but I'm not going to nitpick on that. The yellow shines through really good. I think they did a good job on and also for all the heads have looked great. So I think they did a good job on this one.
Yeah. Next we have Jallguar. They had some pronunciation. They said that this is what they used. I'm just going to call it what I always call them. This one probably looks the best. Probably because he doesn't combine it all, but makes like a butt flap or a back flap for him. I really like how this one looks. The head does look a little tiny bit big, but it's okay. I think the Breastmaster, I'm just going to call it that, I don't care, has the best integration out of all of them. And this is my second favorite one just because it's a black Jaguar Transformer. It's based off of them, and I like black cats. So I think this one looks great. If you could pick them up individually, I might have picked this one up by himself.
Yeah, I think this one looks the best as well. I like the alt mode. It looks like an armored race car.
That's what they called it. They said it was an off-roading race car because instead of calling it a dune buggy, which they thought was lame, they called it that. And I'm like, it's an armored dune buggy though. That's not lame.
Well, and the thing is, they have race cars that or they have cars that race, or they have races in
the desert,
and stuff. So that's accurate. But yeah, this looks like armored race car, so it looks good. I agree with you. I think the way the Breastmaster, whatever they're called, goes into the chest looks really good. It looks like it sinks in, and I don't see a big peg sticking out or anything like that. The colors look great. The bot mode looks good. It doesn't look crazy or anything. This is probably my favorite one of this as well.
I agree. This is probably my least favorite one. What is that alt mode? I mean, the bot looks also super chunky to where he has no articulation. He almost looks like, if you gave like a, what are they called? Missing link. It looks like a missing link figure because there's like not a lot of posability, but missing link figures have more posability than this. A lot of waffling in the arms and the lower legs, and this alt mode is just a lower leg with a gun strapped to it. Like, they did not try at all. And I didn't even talk about how the gun looks like a chibi gun. It doesn't even look tough. It looks like it's going to shoot like bubbles or something out of it. I don't know. I really dislike this figure. And I think it's because I like Killbison. He's a cool character, from what I know. And the chest integration is good, though. I will give it that.
Yeah. The chest integration is good. Again, the head sculpt looks great. Everything else is very meh. The alt mode is just terrible. I honestly couldn't tell you if it goes, if this is the front or the back. The only thing that tells me that is the way the guns are pointing.
I almost feel like if they turned the gun around, it would look better.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you see the yellow on the side, the strip on the side. Mm-hmm. It doesn't go all the way through, so it's just like it literally looks like it's not finished transforming.
Yeah. It looks like it. They literally laid the shin down, and they call it good.
Yeah.
They did the same thing with I think it's Drillhorn, I believe. Right? Yeah. But this one looks a lot better in alt mode. I think it's it works better. I don't know why, because it's not just a limb. The Rhino looks a little emaciated for a Rhino. What I think of a Rhino, but it doesn't look bad. The integration is fine. He is very chunky, but I think with the colors it works better than Killbison.
I think the alt mode looks great. I love the treads are a different color than the wheels. That's some attention to detail that we typically don't get. I like that they added the yellow into the back of the foot, so it gives it some color there and a pop to break up the blue. The black vents along the top look good. The cockpit looks good. The drill looks good. So I really like the alt mode on this. This is probably my favorite alt mode besides the race car, just because it's so different than the other one. Like the other foot is so bad that I just expected this to be bad.
Yeah.
And this looks good, which makes me like, why couldn't you do something like this with the other foot? And
I completely agree. It does have that hinge where the drill is, which is a little but you gotta have it. Like, It is what it is. I'm not throwing it under the bus for that. I think this one looks really good though.
Yeah, I mean, so what if you're in the cockpit driving and you can't see because there was a hinge in front of you? You're in a drill. You just go through whatever is in front of you.
Exactly.
The Breastmaster looks terrible. It looks like it has
probably the worst one out of the bunch.
Yeah, it looks like a bird head, like a dinosaur bird head on a whatever. But I think the alt mode on this one looks really, really good. The bot mode is just like, okay, it's a big chunky guy that's supposed to make some feet.
Yeah, exactly. Now let's get into the tiers. So the first tier is Death Cobra. If they make, I think, 1,300 backers. So it is a fully transformable figure that can form an arm or this weird shoulder cannon if you want all 7 of them to combine. I think this is really cool, but again, seeing this angle, this was from a slide. They didn't show off an official photo of him in bot mode. He looks so chunky. Like, I don't like that at all. Like, all of these characters are just too big and bulky. And I don't like that there's the tail just sticking off his back. I do like the chest that turns into a cobra. I think that looks pretty cool. I don't understand this big undercarriage square thing on him. I don't know what that does, except turn into a cannon that looks ridiculous. It looks like like you put a cassette tape or a CD player or something into it. That's what it looks. It doesn't look like a cannon to me. And look at the inside of his legs. I wonder if all of them have that.
Yeah, it's just open.
Just open, which is fine, but this is $300. if I was to back this, it would have to already have met this mark. This is the only way I would pick this up, and that is very out there. But we'll save our final thoughts for later. What do you think of this figure by itself?
Well, the alt mode looks like it's bringing goods and services to some place that really needs it. Maybe it's bringing some weapons somewhere. So that's how I look at that. Which again, I think you touched on it earlier. There will probably be a sticker set for this to help maybe
not Sky-Byte, but there definitely will be for this too.
Yeah. I don't remember the character from the show, or I don't know if it had the little tail thing on it. Maybe they're trying to make it look reminiscent of a cobra or something like that. So it's the tail of it. I don't know. That's why that helicopter thing is in the back. I like the colors, even though the light makes one look really bright, vibrant green.
Yeah, so that's because that's from a slide, so there's bright. I think it's going to be more of the darker green.
The darker color. And again, I don't know if that's how it's supposed to look or not. Let's talk about this cannon on the shoulder. I don't like that at all. It looks kind of weird. And I wonder then what it does for articulation on that arm.
Oh, you probably can't do that.
Yeah, like
maybe the elbow will still be there. Yeah.
Yeah. So, it is what it is. Yeah, I think I like the alt mode better than anything.
I agree, and it looks like that big square thing can come off because I don't see it in the bot mode.
Right.
So I think the alt mode would look a lot nicer without that on.
Or that's his legs.
Oh, you're right. It does look like that's his legs. Oh well, never mind. Doesn't look as good anymore.
Oh, gosh. Okay, so his legs are just okay. Yeah, and that's it. Yeah, because if you look at it on his shoulder, you can see his feet in the box, and then that part that is open is okay. That's just his feet there. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. All right, so he's carrying that package everywhere he goes.
Moving on, if they get 16,000 backers, you'll get his signature weapon, which this is my problem with HasLabs, is like, to get the full amount, it better get backed all the way, because this is like, when you think of Leo Kaiser's weapon, you think of this. You don't think of the double-barreled gun, which is fine on its own. You think of this weapon. And they did a good job, I think, with this.
The electromagnetic nunchucks?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I agree with you. It should have been included, but I think it will get backed. Well, we'll leave that for final thoughts. But yeah, I think this is fine. I don't necessarily see it as a big add-on base thing. This should be like, again, this should be really low on the tiers to unlock.
Yeah, I agree. And finally, if it gets 1,800 backers, you get a display base that actually they stole it from Funbee Studios, that splits into 3 things, so you could have the 3 jet members hovering above the rest of them, or it could combine into one display base for Leo Kaiser itself, which is cool. I'm glad this is the last one, because this would be the one that I would nip the first. The other ones are better, in my opinion. What are your thoughts about this? And then why don't you move on to your final thoughts?
The only thing that this made me think about is the Raiden set that didn't have good stability issues, or that didn't have good stability, and that was an issue. So having this doesn't look that way, but having the stand, is it going to be needed or whatever? So I'm with you. I'm glad it's the last piece, just in case it doesn't go all the way. And it is what it is. Final thoughts. I think that this would be a great mainline release compared to the other combiners we've had recently. I think this is a very, very good looking combiner overall. There's things I don't like and I can nitpick, but this is a very good combiner overall. I don't see you spending $300 on it though. That's where I'm out. I wish they would have made this the mainline release and the 86 Devastator a HasLab, because I think this is how I would want all of my combiners to look like at a minimum, I guess I should say. This looks very good. It looks very, cohesive to what I would picture it as. I don't know the size compared to, Death Source, so I'd be curious to see the next.
They're probably going to be about the same height in combined mode.
Okay, so
Death Source, I believe, is 12 inches tall in bot mode, and this is supposed to be 12 inches. So
okay, so I don't remember if they were the same height on the show. I didn't think they were, so that's a little, disturbing there. But I think this is a good figure overall. I just don't like the price point is too high.
Okay, I agree with you. I'm going to say that I really like how it looks from straight on, besides the Death Cobra, because I think that's a little goofy, and you can actually see straight through it now that I noticed it. How is that a canon? Either which way, I think from straight on, looks good. I don't think it poses very well. I don't think it, does too much besides looking good from this angle. I think all the individual bots are very lackluster. I don't think any of them say, "Ooh, that looks really good." And we've seen their SKYBYTE. They can do it. I don't understand where the disconnect is. Yeah, this has a third mode, but are those legs really a third mode? A piece flips out.
Not one of them.
Yeah. So, I mean, I get it. There's that extra aspect for engineering, but they're all about 5.5 inches tall, which means, in my eyes, they're deluxe sized. They might have Voyager engineering, but they're deluxe sized. And $300 is not worth it for me. It's just not. I think they could have done a lot more. If the individual figures looked better, I would probably be in. Hell, if they used a bigger frame like the Iron Factory one, not comparing the two, but if they used a bigger frame and everything just looked nicer, maybe the combined mode was a little bit bigger, I might say, okay, I'll be in. Honestly, if this was $200, I would tell you I'm gonna back it. $200 is an appropriate price for this. You could disagree with me all you want, but this is about Titan-sized engineering and stuff, in my eyes. Same as like Tidal Wave. Tidal Wave sure has less pieces moving, but it's bigger. So I think, I'm no plastic expert, but it seems like those should be about the same price. And I just, there's not enough there. I think HasLab needs to be, we've talked about this on our last HasLab one with Omega Prime, needs to be the cutting edge. This is what Hasbro can do. Look at all this. And again, I don't think that's it. That's how bad I made it disappear from existence. But in all reality, I don't think this is as good as they can do. I think SKYBYTE, even taking away what my preference for the character, I really like Leo Kaiser too. Looks better because it just is more in proportion. It looks, there's more there. There's more paint. This isn't there for me. So I'm out on this, which is sad because I do want a Death Cobra, but I might just have to pick, I don't want to say it, but I would pick up Iron Factories first, even if though it's smaller. So, yeah. So I'm very happy to everybody that really wants this, but I'll stick with TFCs because I like the 14, 15 inch compared to Death Saurus. At least he's a little bit taller. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I didn't want to bring in third party. I think I prefer that as well.
But I think it's okay when there's different ones to say, I'd rather get this. It's more expensive. You can't compare it. We're not expecting this to be on the same level as Iron Factory or TFC. I'm not expecting that. But for my collection, I'll stick with TFCs. I think it looks better with their Death Saurus, which is funny. But I do think it looks better with that.
I was going to say the same thing. And I can't remember how much I paid for the TFC version.
It wasn't much more.
It wasn't much more.
Yeah, I mean, I was a sucker that bought them when they first came out, and then you bought the box set.
I bought the box set. It might have been 400, maybe.
I don't even think it was that much. I think it was 350
or 3. Okay, so yeah,
maybe I don't remember honestly.
Yeah, but with that, I also didn't get Death Cobra.
Yeah, and you know,
and display base.
Yeah, exactly. So there's things.
Yeah,
both sides.
I think if you don't have this character in your collection, similar to what we said about the Omega Prime, go for it. If this is a character you want, go for it. Get it. You know, if you already have it, you want to get it, great. You know, do I feel like it's a must-have for my collection? I don't.
Yeah, which is sad, because I think if this was big powered, the 3 from big powered, I think we would be much more like, oh, neither of us have that, it looks amazing. But since we have things to compare this to, it falls flat. You know, but let us know your thoughts down below. We're gonna stop talking about this for now, and we're gonna probably in a few hours talk about it again. So let us know your thoughts below. This was a very long what they showed off episode, but this is why we did it, because if we didn't, our news episode would have been 3 hours long. So so let us know what you think, and we'll see you guys very, very soon.
Exactly. Until all debates are won, see you on the news.